Well, here we go again. YouTube Rumble. I hate nothing more than race baiting. The idea of trying to enrage a group of people because this other group is what caused your problems is one of the most disgusting things you can do. These type of people have been around for a long time. They build a platform off of race baiting, and they build that platform pretty successfully. A lot of people who are in hard times hate to admit that in some situations, not all, I know there's some situations where your race could be at a disadvantage, sure. I mean, I'm not going to discount that, and there's a lot of struggles that people go through that I never had to go through, and there's a lot of struggles that other people will never have to see that I had to see. The last thing I will advocate is for victimhood, and you shouldn't be living your life tallying up your victimhood points. I guarantee you will not be happy. You'll just be miserable and hating a bunch of people based on their class or their race. Not as if this individual has done anything specifically to you, negative or positive, but you just simply hate them because of the way they look, or the way their skin color is, how much money they have in their bank account. You hate their success. It turns into a very bitter and sour human being, and in some cases radicalizes you. And a good example of this happening to white people is simply the KKK, or actual white supremacists in general. When I see TikTokers and YouTubers promoting actual white hatred because it's deemed socially acceptable, I'm not going to speak on that, but I could not imagine what kind of life that's like. Just constantly being sour towards a race, towards an entire group of people. It just sounds miserable that your entire life is based on victimhood. Like, where do you base your happiness on after that? When you're constantly just walking around and immediately judging people like that because they happen to be a certain color, or they have a certain status, they have money, assuming to know what their struggle was growing up, because in your mind they could not possibly struggle ever because of their skin color. That is actually nuts. I grew up in a trailer home in a town of like maybe 500 people, and at no point did I blame anyone or anything on the situation. It's just how things are. That's how it started. But the one thing that stayed in my mind is, what can I do to get out of this? I refuse to live my entire life in this situation. So I made moves and I advanced. And I'm not going to give you my life story because that's not what this is about. But the difference between me and them is I look at the negativities that had happened and I use that to grow and not sit there and resent. Just stewing in your resentment. Imagine what that does to the brain. Imagine what that does to the mind. But today is just a quick video about Pete Budajudge blaming roadway car accidents on being black, essentially. And that black neighborhoods have worse roads than white neighborhoods. They don't have adequate street lights. They don't have stop signs. They don't have crosswalks. I mean, he is the Secretary of Transportation, but I cannot imagine most inner city areas, whether they be black or white, not having crosswalks or adequate lighting. Instead of actually getting down to the real reasons on why this is potentially happening, why there's more accidents, we immediately jump on race. Pete Budajudge is no stranger to race baiting. He's no stranger to making people feel like as if they're victims. He is no stranger to blaming white people for all the problems in the world in an attempt to cause some kind of like racial tension. Let's take a quick look at the 60-minute interview he just did the other day, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
We've got a crisis when it comes to roadway fatalities in America. It's a level that's comparable to gun violence. And we see a lot of racial disparities. Black and brown Americans, tribal citizens, and rural residents much more likely to lose their lives, whether it's in a car or as a pedestrian being hit by a car. There are a lot of reasons related to discrimination, even the ways that roads are designed and built. Who has access to a safe street design that's got crosswalks and good lighting? Who doesn't have that access? That can drive disparities.
Now, seeing that clip, do you understand what I'm saying? And he's been doing this his entire career. Well, at least his entire political career. When he was running for president back in 2016, he was doing the same kind of thing. He likes to put an us versus them mentality, and that he's an ally for the minority. Now, I'm not going to drag this video on too much with my thoughts, but I will leave it with this. These type of human beings that already have a solution to a problem, but they don't quite know what that problem is, and that solution being racism or sexism with no real argument or like logistical reasonings on it, that is what true fear mongering is. Now, when you point something out that's really terrible and there is an actual answer to it, and you're being genuine, and yes, there is a little bit of fear added to that, but not by intention, that's not fear mongering. But people like Pete Budajudge, they want to stoke that fire. They want to attach racism to everything. They want to appear as if they're allies so that their constituents will continue to vote for them. That's all this is. It's pure grifting. That's all this is. I won't be as cliche as to say to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, because that's kind of a ridiculous thing to say anymore. But surround yourself with people that are trying to progress and that will uplift you and will not allow you to hang your problems and things that are essentially the boogeyman. Are there terrible people out there? Absolutely. There are racists out there? Sure. But I refuse to believe that it's as bad as what Pete is suggesting. There are races and just terrible people all over the place, against whites, against blacks, against Asians, and against really any minority. But if you define your entire life based on this, you will be a miserable human being. I promise you. And the best way to kill bad ideas is with good ideas. And hey, if you disagree with that, I don't know what to tell you. But I will tell you that I love each and every one of you, and I wish nothing but success in your lives, and I hope that you find it, but never at the expense of other people. But anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please like the video. For sure, subscribe to the channel. Cliche, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.